Hi, I'm Alan Plevy from Small & Plevy in Vienna, Virginia. Today we'll be talking about the topic of I've decided to get a divorce, now what do I do? The first thing you want to do when you decide you want to get a divorce is find out what your assets are, what your liabilities are, what your debts are. What is it that makes up the marriage? Do you have a home? Are your cars being paid? Are the cars paid for? Do you owe anything on your cars? You have to get a complete picture of what your marriage is like. So you want to find out what's going on. Are the bills being paid? Where the assets are deposits being made into the right account? Is there more than one account that you don't know of? Or are there any accounts that you don't know of? The next step would be to determine what's the best way to talk to the other person. Do they have a lawyer? If so, then we need to contact the lawyer. Telling the spouse that you want to get a divorce can be fraught with a whole lot of problems, and it really depends upon the factual circumstances of what's gone on and the reasons why you've decided you want to get a divorce. You can be getting a divorce because you found out they're having an affair. You could be getting a divorce because now your children have moved out of the home and you find out that in fact you don't have a marriage. You have a situation where you were raising children. So it depends on what the circumstances are and how you want to approach your spouse in deciding whether to talk to them about getting a divorce or not. Certainly before you speak to your spouse, I think you should speak to an attorney. After you decide that you want to get a divorce and you gather up your financial information, you have to speak to a professional, find out exactly what it is. What's divorce all about? I mean, you can go online and you can read books, but you need to speak to a person face to face, in front of them, eye to eye, and find out what it is that you're going to be walking yourself into. You want to find out what the judges are doing in your area in a particular circumstance. And talk to this professional, your lawyer, about whether you're going to confront your spouse with the fact that you want a divorce or you're moving out, what the consequences of that might be. Maybe divorce is really not what I thought it was all cracked up to be. And maybe it's not that bad. Maybe we should go to marriage counseling, see if we can try to work out our differences. I have found that most people that go to marriage counseling have already talked about divorce, and this is an attempt to try to keep the marriage together. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And when it works, that's great. And if it doesn't, then at least hopefully there's a dialogue that has been begun that can continue after the marital counseling or after the decision has been made that yes, we are going to separate, we are going to obtain a divorce, and we can then proceed with talking to the other side and finding out what it is, how it is that we're going to divide up the marital estate and resolve matters. Getting a divorce can be overwhelming. You're on this horrible roller coaster ride, and one day or one morning you're up and the next afternoon or the next day you're down because something has happened or the kids have said something or the children have said, no, I want to stay at mommy's house tonight or daddy's house tonight. And it's very consuming in your daily life. And that's why I think it's important for a person to seek mental health counseling. And it is one of the most emotional times in your life that will ever occur. When you tell the children is when you have children, and how do you tell the children, and when you have the children. Quite frankly, I have my own advice that I give to people, but I also tell them to speak to their therapist. Or if the children have therapists, speak to the children's therapist and let them know what's going on. If you have younger children who are in elementary school, I would let the school counselor know. Every elementary school has a school counselor. More often than not, you're going to find out that the schools already have a program available for children who are already separated or going to be in separated families, where these kids get together for lunch and they share experiences and the counselor will talk to them. For the sake of the children, you really don't want to denigrate the other person. If mom's moved out or if dad's moved out or somebody's had an affair or whatnot, that's really not the children's business. You need to keep the children out of that. The children just need to know that they need to go to school, they're going to be taken care of, and that's what needs to be done for them. Moving out and deciding when to move out can be fraught with a lot of danger, because if you decide to move out and you don't know what you're doing and you haven't spoken to a lawyer, you can be deserting the marriage. And then while your life might be miserable and you need to get out of the house, you've gotten out, but now under the law you've deserted the marriage. You don't have a ground for divorce because you're miserable, but your spouse, your other party, could have a ground for divorce to file against you on the grounds of desertion. You've deserted the marriage. So it's very difficult to decide when to move out or to effect the separation. Certainly if there's abuse or physical danger, then you call 911 and you involve the police. And they can put the other party out of the house and even get you a protective order, help you get a protective order. If one party has moved out and they've taken the children, then I might want to file for divorce on the grounds of desertion so that I can get into court to be able to ask the court for relief and be able to see my children. Washingtonian says I'm among the best because of my experience and because I'm respected by both the judges and the lawyers in this area. They know that I'm more than willing to settle a case so long as it's done fairly and responsibly, and if they're not willing to settle a case fairly and responsibly, then they'll sue me in court, and I'm ready to go. I enjoy court, but I'll just as soon settle a case. I'm Alan Plevy from Small and Plevy in Vienna, Virginia. My phone number is 703-790-1900. You can reach us on our website at smallandplevy.com. Thank you.